Valley News Live at 10.
We begin with new developments tonight in an investigation surrounding sexual assault allegations against upperclassmen at the Richland 44 High School.
The school superintendent has now confirmed the timeline of events leading up to the investigation.
Parents had contacted our whistleblower hotline saying there were alleged ambushes by upperclassmen on 7th and 8th graders in the school. The lights are supposedly turned off and the victim is held down and violated. Initially, a whistleblower told us the school has suspended 5 students in connection with the incident.
And today, Superintendent Tim Godfrey tells Valley News Live he became aware of the incidents 1 week ago today, which led to a meeting with students last Thursday. But one whistleblower parent tells us after a mom came forward with the details of her son's assault, Godfrey turned the investigation over to the sheriff's department the next day, which follows school policy. As for what the school's next steps are, Godfrey says they have a plan in place.
It's being cognizant of what's going on, preparing teachers through our own professional development, how to identify things better, especially newer trends or whatever may be happening in the teenage world at this time, so that we can be more aware.
The incident also led to the shutdown of the boys' JV and C squad basketball teams for the season due to a lack of players.
And we've been following this story since a whistleblower first brought these allegations to our attention. For more on this story, go to our website at valleynewslive.com.
It's been such a good week. We're trying to kind of stick with and hold on to those above average temps a little while longer. Hutch, anything to keep an eye on tonight?
Yeah, as we head into the overnight hours, the cloudy and gray weather that's been with us will continue, and we're seeing some reduced visibilities thanks to some developing patchy areas of fog. First of all, there are some stars out over the FM area. A little bit of clearing has made its way in. That's allowed us to cool off, but there's enough moisture in the air where we even have hazy conditions here in the FM area. A new fog advisory up in the Devil's Lake Basin and proportions of eastern South Dakota, although we could see it forming elsewhere. Take a look at visibilities now. Langdon, 1/4 of a mile, 3 miles in Grafton and Hallock, and down near the Morris area, Benson, out towards Alexandria, visibilities down to a mile or less. That includes Grant County in our viewing area. So watch out for reduced visibilities as we go through the early overnight hours. Details on our day tomorrow. A warming trend really gets fired off tomorrow. More details in their hour-by-hour forecast here in a moment.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
A dozen people have had their vehicles broken into and valuables stolen in just the past couple of days throughout Fargo. In one of these cases, a woman had her gun stolen. So where do these stolen items go, especially when they're dangerous? Seth Dye has been working in the pawn business for a long time. And when it comes to stolen guns being brought to the store, he says it happens more than you think. He says he does what he can to make sure they don't buy a stolen gun.
If someone comes in with a gun that they don't even know how to cock it or anything, that's usually a red flag saying, hey, you're probably not an actual gun owner if you don't know anything about it.
Dye and the Fargo Police Department says they often work together on these kinds of cases. An alert is sent out to area pawn stores whenever an item such as a gun is stolen.
We have an update tonight on the man accused of trying to hit a police officer with his vehicle in North Dakota. Prosecutors say 22-year-old Ulysses Villalobos has waived extradition from South Dakota and is expected to appear in court in Bismarck early next week. Villalobos is charged with attempted murder and fleeing a peace officer during a probation search. The officer shot Villalobos in the arm. The officer was not injured. Villalobos is being held in the jail in Sioux Falls. He was arrested last Thursday night at a gas station in Brookings.
A Minnesota prosecutor has convened a grand jury in the police shooting of an Australian woman. Justine Damon was killed by a Minneapolis police officer, Mohammed Noor, in July of 2017. Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman said earlier he would no longer use grand juries in police shootings and would decide those cases himself. And he said last month that he hadn't decided yet whether to charge Noor, but the attorney for the police officer who was with Thor the night of the shooting told the Star Tribune he's been subpoenaed to testify before a grand jury. Freeman's office says they can't comment because grand juries are secret, but says Freeman will be the one to decide charges.
Technology is putting our kids at risk. That's part of the finding of a nationwide student risk survey. We sat down with an expert in the Grand Forks School District to break down the numbers. They found that more screen time is adding to less extracurricular activities, and feelings of depression and suicide are increasing. But experts say the tech consequences are wide-reaching.
A lot of young people are viewing pornographic images. They don't know what to do with that information. So we're seeing an increase of sexual assault minor to minor in general in the country.
Statewide, more than 8% of high schoolers say they have experienced sexual violence. There's a lot more data linked on our website. All you have to do is click on this story at valleynewslive.com.
The Barnes County Sheriff's Office wants you to be aware of a registered sex offender who has moved to Wimbledon, North Dakota. Cruz Wright is now living at 402 Out Street, and authorities have listed him. Authorities, Wright says, does not have a risk level listed with the state at this time. Now, Wright was convicted of felony rape of a child in the 3rd degree in 2009 in Washington state. The victim was a 15-year-old female.
Now that the Sam's Club in Moorhead is closed, customers say they're getting a bad deal when filling their prescriptions elsewhere. That's later on Valley News Live at 10.
And